When and how did human design first come into your life? Thanks to my I connected with her on X, and she shared her story, her personal journey with human design and how it impacted her, and that's how I got curious into human design. And this is what I'm doing now. I'm sharing my journey now. So thanks a lot to her. Grateful. What was your first reaction? I think the first time I heard about human design was way before Maria recommended me to Dr. White. Was yeah, again I saw it on Twitter, someone posting about it. I didn't resonate with it at all. Like I didn't like the idea of compartmentalizing people into types and categories. Yeah, so I was like, nope. The actual first reaction when I tasted human design was with the foundation reading. Then yeah, I was kind of split in that moment after the foundation reading. I was so the way I got to my foundation reading was actually based on my human design, which is based on my gut response. So I didn't logically want that foundation reading. I didn't resonate with it in the sense of reasoning or logic. It didn't make much sense to me, but something pulled me towards doing it. And I was surprised. Yeah. So the first reaction was surprise of what I was hearing and how everything was getting processed. With like it's like exploring a new dimension to the life which I'm living. It was a shock. Like it was like questioning the identity which I was carrying around for so long. So yeah, it was challenging to hear to rewatch the first foundation reading itself. But yeah, so it was a mixture of resistance and excitement because I like something new. So getting to know something new about me was exciting, but the resistance, what it was challenging, what I already knew. So which sessions, insights, or experiments shook your old ways of living? The very first experiment, which I still, get back to frequently, is keeping my mouth shut and simply waiting to respond. Like literally waiting to respond in conversations and not initiating. So that was the first experiment which I tried for a week. And that just opened my eyes because it also acted like a pause. So not just verbally speaking, but my actions were also in response. Like it helped me ground into my body more, which I didn't realize back then, but now I see its value and its importance. That's one of my favorite experiments. But the session, more than session, it was the workshop, the catharsis open solar plexus workshop, which I did, was the most impactful moments or 20 minutes of my entire life so far. Because I think that's where most of the deconditioning happened. Just going up on top of the mountain and just yelling it and expressing it, all the frustrations out of my body was the most powerful for me so far. Yeah, insights are a lot. I think I'll get into it later. What illusions or assumptions started falling apart? The assumption that, firstly, that I have to decide using mind. That was a big breakthrough that, oh, I don't have to worry about deciding logically with pros and cons and stuff. That used to take a lot of my energy. So now I'm just, decision making has become much, much easier. I just simple, follow my energy or my gut. And even if I do something like out of my not self and then with awareness I realize it, it's very easy to decide then whether to continue or not, because again, it's a yes or no, whether I'm feeling pulled towards it, driven towards it, or if it's draining me or it's like a meh, then I don't. I just stop. What other illusions fell apart? I think with decision making, everything else started falling into place. So again, with respect to trying to find answers now, you know, I was living in impatience. So now I developed patience. So the illusion of me having to achieve something in a specific span of time, that I will be worthy only if I achieve this dream and attain this social status, fell apart. Yeah. So it released a lot of pressure out of me. What new aspects of yourself began to shine through? Oh, so for this, I think the communication, the speaking your truth workshop was most powerful. I think that's when my foundation reading was more of a theory, a little bit of experiment happening. But the speaking your truth workshop, where this one word, the word compromise, really went deep into me. I realized this whole life I was just compromising myself to please others, therefore feel valuable, to fit in, and then feel worthy. When I realized all this was just me compromising, I was like, oh, what am I doing? It helped me stop that, break that pattern, and start using my voice. For so long, I used to feel a block here. Like, I couldn't do this. In my first YouTube video, I was just speaking from my throat, but now I'm actually able to speak through my whole body, like share my energy, which wasn't the case before. And that shining through of my authentic voice has been reflecting throughout in relationships, in family. I think majority of my energy was going in people pleasing. Now that's gone, I'm feeling a surge of energy to do something which is authentically exciting to me. So yeah, it's very hard to pinpoint one aspect where I'm shining through, because it cumulatively, or it affects all other aspects. Transformation in daily life. In what ways do you feel life is different today compared to before human design? Yeah. So obviously decision making, like I said, easy to make decisions. And acceptance, like with human design, I got to understand that everyone is a unique manifestation. So this I got to see the illusion of homogenization. Like it's not I can't generalize the good and the bad. So the labels started dropping off, and yeah, more acceptance for my uniqueness as well as others' uniqueness. So I became more compassionate without even trying to, just by understanding my own uniqueness. What specific behaviors, choices, or decisions have shifted? Behaviors, I think this is something recent. A recent breakthrough is that I pause when I feel an impulse. When I feel When I'm on the extremes, I'm able to be aware that, oh, okay, it's time to pause and tune into my body and then decide. Otherwise, I used to just rush into things because of the impulse and then regret later. So the behavior of taking action out of impatience is dissolving, and it is transmuting into first grounding into myself and then letting the doing happen from this state of being. Yeah, the biggest decision I think is with respect to my career. I quit my job because it was so draining and I was just holding on to it just for the sake of survival. So I gathered enough courage to follow my gut and let go of it. And now I'm building something of my own, following my curiosity and passion. Although challenging, it's very exciting as well. So, yep. It's basically making bold decisions very easy to take because initially when I started with small decisions, now my mind has learned that okay, I mean if even if I take the leap using my gut response, whatever the result comes up is the right result for me. So the outcome, it's not what's universally accepted as right or wrong. It is right for me. So where my body leads me is right for me, whether or not it's in generic terms right or not. So in that way, I think those labels of right and wrong have changed for me. If it energizes me, it's right for me. If it drains me, it's not right for me. Simple as that. Beliefs and conditioning. Which core beliefs about yourself or the world have been challenged or broken? I think the biggest one was obviously decision making. The second, I would say, is emotions. I still remember in the foundation reading, I was told, you're not emotional. I was like, what? I feel so much of emotions. And then I realized, okay, I have an open solar plexus and I receive and amplify emotions from the surrounding, and that helped me discern between what's mine and what I'm receiving from outside. And that dissociation helped me not take them personally, therefore, not get triggered by them and react out of them. Although I do get triggered and react out of them, but not as much as I used to before. So, yeah, deconditioning is happening a lot with respect to the emotional intake and release. So, yeah. What other core beliefs? I think more than challenge it, human design amplified my belief that, but even though I was trying to hustle in life, deep down I really wanted to follow joy, make life feel effortless. So I knew that was the truth deep down, but I never had courage to follow that path. Instead, hustled like everyone to fit in. With human design, I learned that, oh, I mean, it gave me the community, the support to see that, oh, it is actually possible. What I was feeling deep down is the truth, and I can follow that truth. So it amplified that inner knowing, that belief within me. Do you face resistance in letting them go? Yeah, I had a lot of resistance to decision making. I think that's the biggest one. Taking decisions from the mind or through logic and reasoning to following my gut was challenging, still is challenging to some extent. There are some resistance, especially with respect to the childhood traumas or fears, small t traumas or fears, the fear of rejection or fear of being seen. So all of them were, those parts of me were coming in my own way of following my gut. They still do to some extent, but then I need Then I just pause, accept those limitations, and something transmutes in that process of acceptance. It's not, the acceptance isn't like, oh, this is a roadblock, and it's not really like a negative emotion. It's more like seeing things as it is. Like, okay, this is something I'm perceiving through my mind, which doesn't really represent the truth. So again, that discernment helps me tune into my body, feel safe. And when I feel safe in my body in the way I am right now, then yeah, I naturally follow my um, honor my response mechanism. Living the new reality. How does it feel to live aligned with your design now? Very freeing, very freeing. Easy, easy. So I think I have a sticky note on my monitor. Easy is right. So to me, it translates as my gut responses, right? Because gut response is always easy to do for me. Yeah, it feels a lot of ease in my body. What new freedoms or inner peace do you notice? So biggest inner peace is um, not having to answer, not having to find answers to all my doubts. So I have a lot of doubts. I still have a lot of unknown stuff wandering around in my mind as clouds. Earlier, I used to try to sit down and solve and find answers to all of them, which was very overwhelming. Now I just know, okay, I have an open head and inspirations will come and go. I don't have to act on every single one of them. And the answers will naturally unfold as I follow my inner authority or my body's intelligence. So I no longer try to find answers at any cost immediately. I just sit with them and wonder about them and wait for the answers to come at the right time. Another freedom, the biggest freedom is I don't have to please anymore. That's so freeing that I don't have that I can choose. I can choose to just be myself and not attempt to please anyone for the sake of feeling worthy myself. That's very freeing to live unapologetically myself. It's not that, oh, I am like this only and I don't care about you. It's I care so much about myself and others that I honor both. I think people pleasing is a bigger disservice to others than to myself. And not pleasing others is a bigger service which I'm doing to people around me than wearing a mask or a facade and trying to please them. So it goes both ways. It's not just about myself. It's about the whole communion around me. I could see the impact, at least in my family, that when I'm authentic, I'm speaking my truth out of love and acceptance, of course. So the mistake which I did initially in my experiment was just blurting out the truth in their face. That used to trigger them. Then they again used to come back and trigger me, and that back and forth used to happen. Now I learned, okay, speaking your truth doesn't mean blurting it out. Like it's being it's being smart in the situations, as in I am speaking my mind and speaking from my heart, but with from that space of inner stillness, love, and joy. Not from the not self. Oh, I'm going to speak, this is how I'm feeling. So, yeah, that was a big learning for me. What confusions are no longer confusing? Confusions themselves are no longer confusing. It's like I just sit with the confusions, whatever happens. Um, Primarily I have confusions these days with my business. Yeah, just I let them be there. I don't try to resolve them, and that was the confusion. The biggest confusion I had was how to resolve the confusion. So that confusion is now gone. So there isn't much of a confusion about the confusions. If that makes sense. I don't know. Which long standing doubts about life or self finally got answered? The purpose of my life. I felt directionless, but once I started tuning into myself, I know I have a consistent direction. I could see. I mean, there's never a time where I feel like, oh, I don't know where to go. I always feel that, you know, there is somewhere I can go. I'm sorted. So that sense of relaxation deep down is seeping in. It's not there fully, but it's starting to come in. That okay, I am taken care of. I don't know where to go. Which questions are still alive and open for you? Which questions are still alive? Yeah, the purpose of my life. It's I think that's something I'm exploring and living rather than trying to answer. Like the transformation is something that I'm experiencing on a very regular basis. So much breakthroughs happening these days since I'm doing this as a full time thing. So yeah, so I would say I'm living my purpose. So isn't really a okay. So that is a question which is alive as I'm living it. So it's not really something I'm wanting to get answered. Relationships and connections. How has your way of relating to people changed? 100% lot of acceptance for them, which was not there prior to this. Yeah, I was just stuck in my own bubble, my own worldview, and there was a lot of urge to change others around me. Now that urge has dissipated. Love and acceptance for myself and people around me. That's how I relate now, primarily with people. I mean, it's still a challenge, especially when I receive blame or sentences, a blame masked in an, sweet, sugar coated way. It does trigger something inside me, but then I learn, okay, I dissociate that, okay, this is triggering a part of me, and I see that part of me, give it some love, and then I respond instead of reacting from it. So yeah, pause. Pause is playing the biggest role in relating in business in pretty much my entire life. Pause. The first experiment, which was to pause, keep quiet, and respond. That's what is playing out throughout all my different experiments on some level or the other. Do you experience more authenticity clarity of peace with others. Obviously, yeah. The clarity of emotions, that if I'm feeling a surge or a strong emotion, then I discern that okay, this is probably coming from outside of me, or something that's stored within me long ago, which I was suppressing. So that awareness is really helping me to release, to transmute, and to increase the capacity to handle more, and more peace, because I break the pattern of the back and forth tit tat behavior which I used to have a lot with my parents, especially. So yeah, I pause if something triggers me. I don't react back. So yeah, specific stories. Yeah, that's what I shared. Professional outer world. How has human design impacted your career, work, or sense of contribution? I quit my job. Thank you. And now I'm working on my own business, which enriches me, with where work doesn't feel like work. It's the work I want to do, or which I'm doing. Sense of contribution, yeah, I didn't have this at all in my previous job. Now, when I'm feeling the impact within me as well as others around me, yeah, definitely feel like I'm contributing to the whole by being myself, by being true to my own authentic nature. I'm starting to realize my very presence itself is creating an impact, and I'm infinitely valuable as a human, just like everyone else is in my true self. Do you notice any new energy, creativity, boundaries in your professional life? Creativity for sure. I never thought or imagined the creative side of me in professional scenarios until human design happened, and I started building my own stuff. That, yeah, again connecting with the pause. So, and also with melancholy. Interestingly, the moments when I'm most creative are the moments when I'm kind of in melancholic zone. That's when everything just slows down, as if I'm in a dreamy, slowed down world. I'm just, thoughts flow slowly, emotions flow so slowly, and then what comes out, it's so pure and from the heart. That's when I'm most creative. And when it comes out, then I suddenly feel that impulse and that energy which shoots me out of melancholy into the zone of excitement. Yeah, that, oh, I'm building. So, building something using my hands is really empowering to me. Has the atmosphere of your home changed? Are people responding differently to you now? Yeah, it changed in unique ways. On one hand, family members are like, okay, he's doing some weird stuff, but they're also more confident about me now, because I am more grounded and confident in myself. Because before, when I was hustling, I wasn't really sure if I should be doing this, because it wasn't authentic to me, but I was doing it because everyone else was doing it. So the energy was, you know, not grounded. Now my energy is grounded, even though what I'm doing is something that is unknown, firstly to myself and then to people around me. So yeah, they have doubts, but they feel the energy which I emit. So yeah, in that way, the response has changed. So they just let me be. They know I will take care of myself. So, how has your capacity to accept yourself and others grown? This has been, I think, this is acceptance is the most used word, or the self talk. if I had to, if I had to, um, find the most used word which I say to myself, then that's acceptance. Yeah, I think it has increased dramatically for myself. That's how I think the healing also happened for me. It's through acceptance, something alchemized within me. I was able to stay with myself, firstly, stay in my body instead of escaping into the fantasy world because I was not feeling safe or at home here. Yeah. Self acceptance helped me again ground here. And then when I see the results of that, it naturally started to, trickle down to other people where I started accepting them as well as whoever they are. Even though they might be in not self, I started accepting that as well. What do you do today with these that once felt impossible? Leaping into the unknown without knowing, what will happen. So before I always had to know what will happen and how things will go roughly, to take a decision and jump into something. But now I just feel called to it. I'm gonna do it. We'll let life unfold on its own, and yeah, no more worrying about having absolute perfect clarity of what will happen before doing something. Also, it's ease with simply being. I think this is the biggest one. Ease with simply being and having no reason here to simply be. Because previously, I always had to have a reason here and doing something with my hands. Now, I think the need for a reason has been eliminated. So the doing starts to happen on its own without needing something to do something. This typical pattern of, oh, I'm going to do this so that I get this. So that's gone. So now it's very easy to simply be and simply listen, simply observe life happening or flowing. Looking forward. Where do you feel your journey is leading now? And what excites you the most about continuing with your experiments? So, the direction I'm going towards is, yeah, this living in a way beyond the survival mode conditioning. Living a life with least resistance, or even if the resistance comes, I don't feel any resistance to move through the resistance. Again, not sure if it makes sense, but basically, again, acceptance. So it's not that I'm not going towards a path of zero resistance because mind is mind. More towards a path of effortlessness even through the resistance. Modeling that kind of life and empowering others to live in that way is where I'm leading towards. that's what my business is also about. And all that with an underlying awareness of love and acceptance. Yeah, that's where, that's what my sense of direction is telling me. That's all. Peace.